Hello, esteemed gentlemen. Power doesn't shout, it walks into the room, and suddenly, everyone else forgets how to breathe. Pause for a second and think about that, because in a world obsessed with loud mouths, alpha theatrics, and attention-seeking peacocks, true dominance doesn't make noise, it makes people lean in. Now here's the twist most people will never tell you. 93% of communication is nonverbal, and yet 99% of men are walking around like insecure Wi-Fi signals, weak, unstable, and easily interrupted. But not the Sigma male. He doesn't fight for the spotlight. He becomes the gravitational center of the room without saying a word. How? Through body language so calculated, so unshakably precise, that people feel it in their bone, even if they don't know why. In this video, I'm revealing 11 body language secrets only the top 1% of intelligent Sigma males use to dominate every room they enter. These aren't cliches. They're not the basic, stand up straight and make eye contact garbage. Nope, these are psychological weapons, silent killers of weak perception. By the time we're done, you'll never walk into a room the same way again, and neither will they. Let's begin. Number 1. Controlled neck exposure. Most people don't even realize how much their neck and head movements are giving away. They nod too much, tilt their head down when unsure, or jerk it back when they feel threatened. It's all subconscious, and it screams insecurity. Sigma males do the opposite. They understand that something as small as a head tilt can change how others see them completely. And they don't tilt their head out of nervousness or approval seeking. They tilt it when they choose to, calmly, intentionally, and with full control over the effect it has. Here's the catch. When a Sigma male slightly exposes his neck, it sends a mixed signal. On one hand, it appears vulnerable. It's a spot most people instinctively protect. But on the other hand, when he does it on purpose, it signals that he's so confident in his strength, he doesn't need to protect it. It's like walking into a lion's den and casually turning your back. Most people would never risk it, but the Sigma male does, because he knows something they don't. The moment he chooses vulnerability, it stops being weakness and starts being psychological warfare. People watching him get confused in the best way. Their subconscious says, he's relaxed, but why does that make me uneasy? And that tension works in his favor. It keeps him unpredictable. The slight head tilt makes him look like he's not even trying to assert dominance, yet the control is undeniable. It's subtle, but people start responding to him differently. He's not confrontational, but they still treat him like a threat. Not because he's loud, but because his body says, I'm not scared of anything, including you. That's what makes this move so deadly. It flies under the radar, yet shakes up the entire power dynamic in a conversation. And because so few people do it consciously, it gives the Sigma male an invisible edge. The kind of edge that doesn't just get respect. It makes people feel like they've just encountered something they can't explain, but know they shouldn't underestimate. That's not just body language, that's silent domination. Number 2, the asymmetrical pause. Most people are addicted to filling silence. They feel pressure to respond instantly, like conversation is a game of ping pong, fast, reactive, predictable. But the Sigma male breaks that rhythm. He doesn't play by the invisible rules everyone else blindly follows. When someone says something, he doesn't jump in. He waits just a little too long. Not so long that it feels awkward, but just long enough to make the other person feel like they said something wrong, or not enough. This is the asymmetrical pause, a subtle disruption of conversational timing that flips the entire power dynamic. By choosing not to respond on cue, the Sigma male silently takes control of the exchange. He creates a pause that demands attention. Suddenly people lean forward, their brains start racing. Is he judging what I said? Is he about to disagree? Did I offend him? That discomfort, it's power. Not the kind that's loud or aggressive, but the kind that makes people second-guess themselves. What makes it so effective is how unnatural it feels to most people. They're trained to fear silence, but the Sigma male uses it as a weapon. That half-second pause is his way of saying, I decide when this conversation moves, not you. And the beauty of it? Most people won't even notice what he's doing. They'll just feel slightly off balance, slightly unsure, slightly beneath him. all because he didn't rush to fill space. It also signals that he's not desperate to be understood. He's not performing, he's thinking, processing, evaluating on his time. That throws people off, especially those used to dominating conversations. The asymmetrical pause makes them chase his approval, chase his thoughts, chase his reaction. That's where the real control lies. Not in what he says, but in when he decides to say it. It's not awkward silence. It's calculated silence. And in a world full of noise, nothing hits harder than a pause that makes people sweat. Number 3, the weighted gaze, not eye contact. Forget everything you've heard about making strong eye contact. That advice is outdated and shallow. The Sigma male doesn't just look at people, he presses his presence into them with a gaze so heavy it feels like gravity. This isn't about awkward staring or trying to assert dominance with wide-eyed intensity. No. That's what insecure men do when they're trying too hard to seem powerful. The Sigma male's gaze is quieter, but it hits harder. When he looks at someone, it feels like he's scanning them, like he's reading beneath the surface, not just reacting to what's in front of him. It's a calm, unblinking intensity that makes people feel exposed, like he sees the part of them they don't show anyone else. It's not threatening, but it's unsettling in the best way. It creates this silent tension, because suddenly, the other person becomes hyper-aware of themselves. They start questioning what they just said. They fidget, they shift, they feel watched. Not by a man, but by a mind. That's the power of the weighted gaze. It says, I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to see if you're worth my energy. And that changes everything. People talk less when they're under it, or they talk more, but with nervous energy trying to prove themselves. Either way, the Sigma male doesn't budge. His eyes stay still, grounded, patient. It's that quiet, psychological pressure that does all the work. And here's the twist. He doesn't use it all the time. That's what makes it lethal. He might break eye contact randomly, glance away like he's bored, then come back with full focus and boom, the energy shifts again. It's not about being robotic. It's about choosing when to lock in and when to release. That unpredictability makes people chase his attention without realizing it. Most men try to dominate with noise. The Sigma dominates with presence. His eyes don't shout, they study. And that study makes people feel like they're in an interview they didn't prepare for. That's not just eye contact. That's silent psychological pressure, and almost no one knows how to handle it. Number 4, the delayed blink. Most people blink without thinking. It's automatic, unconscious, and usually speeds up when they're nervous, overwhelmed, or unsure. But the Sigma male's blink rate, it's different, intentionally different. He blinks just a little slower than everyone else, and it changes everything. You'd never notice it unless you were looking for it, but you'd feel it. That slight delay sends a primal signal to anyone watching. This man is not in a rush, not anxious, and definitely not afraid. There's a reason the slower blinking triggers discomfort in others. It breaks the unspoken tempo of human interaction. When someone's blinking fast, it tells you they're processing, reacting, trying to keep up. But the Sigma male blinks like a creature that's already 3 steps ahead. It's cold, it's calm, it's calculating. And people can't help but notice the tension it creates, even if they have no idea why they're feeling it. It's the body language equivalent of a lion sitting still while everything else around it panics. There's no wasted energy, no flinching, no unnecessary motion, just complete control. That slow blink says, I see everything, I feel nothing, and I don't need to perform for anyone. It's unnerving because it's rare, and powerful because it's real. What makes it even more unsettling is that it contrasts so sharply with how most people behave in social settings. Most blink quickly to soften their presence, to appear friendly, to avoid conflict. But the Sigma doesn't blink to make you comfortable. He blinks when he decides to. And that throws people off more than any flashy body language ever could. This isn't some theatrical trick. It's deep psychological conditioning. A slower blink rate signals a low-threat, high-control mindset. It says, I'm not on edge because I don't see you as a threat. I'm relaxed because I'm ready for anything. People might not consciously catch it, but subconsciously they feel dominated, not by force, but by a presence so composed it borders on predatory. And that's what makes it lethal. It's not a performance, it's a quiet, biological flex. Number 5. Unmatched still hands in a sea of noise. Most people talk with their hands like they're trying to juggle attention. They wave, point, twitch, and fidget, because deep down, they're afraid of being invisible. They think movement equals power. But the Sigma male knows the truth. When everything around you is noisy, stillness becomes the loudest thing in the room. His hands don't dance for attention. They rest, unmoved, unshaken, controlled. Whether he's standing, sitting, or speaking, his hands remain calm, anchored, precise, and eerily still. And that stillness? It draws attention more than the loudest gestures ever could. People start watching him, waiting for movement that never comes. And when it finally does, it hits like a command. This is what makes Sigma males dangerous in conversation. While others are leaking nervous energy through their fingers, fiddling with pens, rubbing their palms, scratching their necks, he's conserving it. His body language says, "I don't need to prove I belong here. I already do." His still hands signal total self-possession. No anxiety to hide, no fake charisma to perform, just presence. And when he does move his hands, when he points, opens a palm, or leans forward slightly, it's surgical. People snap to attention, not because he's louder, but because they've subconsciously registered that when this man moves, it means something. One gesture from him carries more weight than 100 from someone else. That's psychological dominance. It's the same reason military leaders, interrogators, and negotiators often keep their hands still. Movement reveals thought. Fidgeting gives away doubt. But stillness hides everything. It makes people guess. It creates unease. Not aggressive, but unsettling in a way that feels like power. The Sigma male doesn't avoid hand gestures. He weaponizes them. He waits. He holds his fire. Then, when the moment matters, he moves. And that one move is remembered. In a room full of hyperactive hands, his silence becomes thunder, not because he's trying to impress, but because he doesn't have to. Number 6. The spatial refusal stance. Most people automatically shrink themselves when others enter their space. They scoot over on the bench, pull in their arms, lean away, or shift their feet, like they're silently apologizing for existing. It's a subconscious way of saying, "You're more important than me." But the Sigma male doesn't do that. He doesn't move unless there's a reason, and someone else walking into the room isn't enough of a reason. This is the spatial refusal stance. He holds his ground, literally. Whether he's standing, sitting, or walking, he doesn't flinch when others approach. If someone steps close, they have to adjust. If seating gets tight, they find a way to make space. The Sigma male doesn't expand aggressively, he simply refuses to shrink. And that subtle defiance speaks volumes. This behavior taps into something primal. In every social group, human or animal, space equals status. The more space you take up without being challenged, the higher your perceived value. The Sigma male doesn't puff up like an insecure alpha trying to prove himself. He just stays put, calm, still, unbothered. And that makes people second-guess their own presence around him. He's not being rude or confrontational. He's simply anchoring himself. His body says, "I'm here and I don't need to move for you." And that message sinks deep into the subconscious of everyone around him. It builds tension, because when someone doesn't adjust for others, it subtly forces them to adjust, physically and psychologically. In group conversations, he won't lean in just because everyone else does. In crowded environments, he doesn't huddle or compress. And when walking down a hallway, he doesn't do the awkward sidestep dance people expect. If there's going to be a shift, it won't be him. And oddly enough, people usually comply. Not because he asked, but because something about his presence makes it feel like the natural order. This isn't about ego. It's about nonverbal control. The Sigma male doesn't demand space. He just never gives it up. And that quiet refusal makes him the center of gravity in any room. Number 7. The horizon chin trick. Most people don't realize how much their chin betrays them. When someone tilts their chin downward, it signals submission, whether they mean to or not. It's the universal body language of, "I don't want conflict." On the flip side, tilting the chin up too far screams arrogance. It's a defensive overcompensation, a silent way of saying, "I need you to think I'm powerful," which usually means the opposite. The Sigma male does neither. He keeps his chin level, parallel to the floor, steady and unmoved. It's subtle, but it's powerful. That level chin creates a posture that says, I'm not beneath you, I'm not above you, I simply don't need your validation at all. And that unnerves people, because most are used to others either shrinking or puffing up. The Sigma does neither. He just holds his ground with the stillness of someone who's completely at peace with his own authority. This posture triggers primal instincts in others. A level chin is what predators display when they're not threatened and not interested in theatrics. It's how a wolf surveys territory, not to impress but to stay aware. That steady angle of the head signals calm dominance, not forced, not theatrical, just real. Even more interesting is how it affects conversations. When the Sigma male speaks with his chin level, his words carry more weight. There's no upward tilt that begs for agreement, and no downward nod that softens the message. His presence alone becomes firm, neutral, and unshakable. People lean in, not because he's loud, but because he feels grounded, like nothing rattles him. And when he listens, that level chin does something else. It makes others feel exposed. They're used to nods, head tilts, or animated reactions, but the Sigma offers none of that. He just looks, with his head aligned like a compass that never needs calibration. It's unsettling, but magnetic. This isn't about looking stiff or robotic. It's about quiet structure. The chin level to the horizon sends a message most people can't describe, but they feel it. This man knows exactly who he is, and he doesn't need to look up or down to prove it. Number 8, slow motion dominance. The world moves fast, too fast. Most people rush their gestures, overreact, speak quickly, and shift constantly. They move like they're chasing approval or dodging judgment. Their body language says one thing loud and clear: I'm trying to keep up. But the Sigma male, he moves like time bends around him. Every step, every glance, every shift in position is slightly slower than the people around him. Not lazy, not slow, but deliberate. This is what's called slow motion dominance. It's the quiet power that radiates from someone who's not in a rush to prove anything. The Sigma male doesn't fidget. He doesn't jerk his head toward every sound or rush to speak when someone stops talking. His movements are measured, intentional, almost like he's underwater, while everyone else is flailing on the surface. And that contrast is everything. People notice it instantly, even if they can't explain it. While others dart around, the Sigma's unhurried motion sends a psychological signal. I'm in control here. I don't react. I choose. It shows patience, and more importantly, it shows confidence in his ability to outlast the chaos. There's no urgency, because urgency is for people trying to gain something. The Sigma doesn't chase, he attracts. This extends to how he turns his head, how he walks across a room, how he sits down or stands up. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is exaggerated. That stillness between movements builds suspense. People feel like something's about to happen, but they don't know when. And that creates an almost magnetic tension around him. Fast movements are often read as nervous energy, insecurity, or even fear. The Sigma male flips that completely. His slower tempo says, I've already won, I'm just letting the rest of you catch up. And the strange thing is, the slower he moves, the more everyone watches him. They can't help it. Their attention sinks to his rhythm, because his rhythm is rooted in power. He doesn't need to dominate the room by storming into it. He simply enters, and the pace of the room adjusts to him. That's not movement, that's command. Number 9, anchor point leg placement. Most people's legs betray them the moment they sit down. They bounce, shift, tap, cross, uncross. Little movements that scream, I'm not fully in control here. It's nervous energy leaking out through the lower body. And even if the upper body looks composed, the legs give the whole game away. But the Sigma male? His legs tell a different story. When he sits, his lower body becomes an anchor, solid, still, grounded. This is anchor point leg placement, a deliberate positioning of the legs that turns sitting into silent power. His feet are either planted firmly on the ground, shoulder-width apart, or crossed in a way that's calm but undeniably secure. No knee bouncing, no ankle tapping, no twitching. He locks into a position and stays there, like a man on a throne, without needing to act like royalty. Why does this matter? Because posture speaks before words do. People subconsciously register a steady, unmoving lower body as a sign of composure and presence. When the Sigma male claims his space and holds it without shifting, it tells everyone in the room, this man isn't going anywhere, physically or mentally. And that stability makes people pay attention. Even something as simple as crossing a leg can be a power move, if it's done with calm confidence, not nervous energy. When the Sigma does it, it's not to look cool. It's to create a balanced, locked-in posture that relaxes him while asserting silent control. The message it sends? I'm comfortable here because I belong here, and that changes how others interact with him. Most men fidget to release tension. The Sigma doesn't need to. He has nothing to prove. His legs are like the foundation of a building, stable, immovable, grounded in self-assurance. And when the base is strong, the rest of the presence becomes unshakable. People may not consciously notice his legs, but they'll feel the difference. They'll sense the stillness, the lack of restlessness, the refusal to adjust for the sake of comfort or insecurity. That's not just posture, it's positioning. It's how you sit when you know the room bends to you, not the other way around. Number 10. Speech timing as a weapon. Most people respond the moment there's a pause, because silence in conversation makes them uncomfortable. They jump in too fast, eager to fill the gap, eager to connect, or worse, to be liked. But the Sigma male? He turns silence into a trap. He delays his response, not because he's unsure, but because he's watching what the silence does to you. This isn't the same as thinking before you speak. This is calculated speech timing as a weapon. He waits, just half a beat longer than expected. And in that moment, the tension builds. The other person starts to feel exposed. They wonder if they said something wrong, or if he disagrees, or if he's judging them. That half-second delay forces them to stay emotionally engaged. They lean in, they add to what they just said, they explain more than they needed to, chasing his approval, chasing his reaction. That's the trap. The Sigma male understands that power isn't in what's said, it's in when it's said. By withholding his response just slightly, he makes the other person do all the work. They fill the silence with nervous words. They try to read his face. They throw out emotional bait, hoping he'll take it. But he doesn't. Not until he's ready. And when he finally does speak, it feels important, because you've been waiting for it. The brilliance is in the restraint. Anyone can speak fast. Anyone can blurt out a clever reply. But only someone truly in control can wait and let others unravel themselves trying to earn a simple nod or word. That kind of pause doesn't feel like silence. It feels like power watching you, judging you silently, deciding if you're even worth responding to. This technique breaks conversational rhythm. It makes people second-guess everything. It gives the Sigma control without ever needing to raise his voice or outwit someone verbally. They invest emotionally while he stays centered, unreadable. That slight delay keeps him unpredictable, and unpredictability is dominance in disguise. In a world obsessed with speed, his calm, delayed response cuts deeper than any argument. Because people don't fear loud voices. They fear the quiet ones that make them question themselves. Number 11. The out-of-phase smile. Most people smile when everyone else does, instantly, reflexively, as if they've been socially programmed. Someone cracks a joke, the room laughs and faces light up in sync like a chorus line. It's automatic. It's expected. And it's deeply tied to the human need for belonging. But the Sigma male isn't wired like that. His smile doesn't come on cue. It arrives slightly after the moment, just enough to make people notice. This is the out-of-phase smile, a delayed, independent expression that breaks the social rhythm and rewrites it on his terms. He doesn't smile to join the crowd. He smiles when he chooses to. That tiny delay sends a powerful, unspoken signal. I'm observing, not performing. I'm not caught up in the group. I'm above it. It throws people off in the most subtle way. When everyone's laughing and he's just watching, his lack of immediate reaction becomes more interesting than the joke itself. People start wondering what he's thinking. Is he unimpressed? Is he amused in a way no one else understands? Is he seeing something deeper? And when that faint smile does finally appear, it feels earned. It feels intentional. It hits harder precisely because it didn't come on cue. The Sigma male's smile isn't about friendliness, it's about control. He's signaling that his emotional responses are his, not dictated by the crowd. That makes him unreadable, unpredictable. And in a social dynamic, unpredictability equals power. What's more, this off-sync smile often gets more attention than the loudest laugh in the room. It becomes a mirror, reflecting the social energy without being owned by it. People see it and subconsciously think he's not here to fit in, he's here to watch the rest of us trying to. And that subtle detachment makes him magnetic. He's not rejecting the group, he's simply not bound to it. That emotional independence is rare and people feel it instantly. The out-of-phase smile isn't about withholding emotion, it's about owning it. And when you master that timing, you don't just stand out, you rise above. Number 12. Calculated silhouetting. Most people walk into a room and unconsciously blend into it. They take whatever seat is open, stand wherever there's space, and never think about how their position affects perception. But the Sigma male? He's playing a different game entirely. He doesn't just enter a space, he calculates how to shape it. This is calculated silhouetting, the subtle art of placing yourself where lighting, architecture, and angles do half the talking for you. He'll lean against a doorway where light frames his outline just right. He'll sit with a window behind him so his figure is bathed in backlight. He'll stand in contrast to a plain wall, making his presence pop visually without needing movement or volume. It's silent stagecraft. It's power by design. People won't even know why they're paying attention to him. There's no loud clothing, no exaggerated posture, no attention-seeking behavior, and yet they can't not, because the human brain is wired to notice high-contrast visuals and defined outlines. It's primal. And the Sigma male uses that wiring like a silent weapon. There's mystique in a silhouette. It suggests presence without exposure. It creates the illusion that there's more to you than what's immediately visible. And that ambiguity breeds curiosity. The Sigma male understands that curiosity draws more attention than visibility ever could. What's brilliant is how effortless it appears. He's not chasing the spotlight, he's shaping it around himself. And that subtle manipulation of space and light gives him an aura most people can't explain. They just know he feels different. Even in group settings, he positions himself strategically, not to dominate with size, but to dominate with visual weight. He might sit slightly in the shadows or angle himself where others have to look toward him to speak. It's spatial psychology in action. While most people try to stand out, the Sigma stands apart, not by force, but by mastery of his surroundings. His silhouette does more talking than most people's mouths ever will. And that's not coincidence, it's calculated. In a world full of noise, those who master silence rule the room. Every move, every glance, every pause of the Sigma male is a calculated expression of inner power, not performance, not pretense. While others fumble for attention with exaggerated gestures, fake confidence, or rapid-fire speech, the Sigma dominates with restraint. He speaks less, moves slower, holds still longer, and in doing so, he forces the world to lean in. People don't just hear him, they feel him. These 11 body language secrets aren't about being flashy or intimidating. They're about controlling energy, your own and everyone else's. They're about reclaiming your space without asking permission, making people earn your reaction, and shaping the tempo of every interaction without saying a single word. That's not charisma. That's command. Most men waste their power trying to be seen. The Sigma understands true power is felt, quietly, deeply, and without explanation. If you master even a handful of these signals, you won't need to prove yourself anymore. Rooms will shift when you enter. Eyes will follow without knowing why. Conversations will tilt in your favor because you've become the one they can't predict, can't ignore, and can't control. That's the difference between presence and performance. And once you learn to dominate the room without saying a word, you'll never go back to chasing attention again. This isn't just body language, it's psychological architecture. And only 1% of intelligent Sigma males will ever master it. Now the question is, are you one of them? If this video sparked something in you, if you felt the shift in power just by understanding these secrets, then imagine what happens when you start living them. So if you're ready to keep evolving and unlocking the next level of Sigma power, don't just watch, subscribe. Join the tribe of the 1% who move in silence but dominate in presence. Like the video to show you're part of that silent elite. Comment below, which of these 11 body language secrets hit you the hardest? And share this with someone who's ready to stop performing and start commanding. Because this isn't just content, it's a mindset, and it's only just beginning.